So tell me, what do you think helped you improve the fastest?
Speaking. Just speaking. Even when I made mistakes. Actually, especially when I made mistakes. Every time I messed up, I learned something new. Like when I called a customer expensive instead of saying their clothes were expensive.
English Talk Show. Learn English through real conversations.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Talk Show podcast, the show where we help you improve your English through real, everyday conversations. I'm Peter, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're listening from your kitchen, your car, or your classroom, today's episode is going to be a fun and inspiring one. Here at the English Talk Show podcast, we believe the best way to learn English is to hear it being used naturally, in real conversations, with real people about real life. No boring textbooks, no stiff grammar lectures, just you, your ears, and great stories that help you pick up vocabulary, expressions, and pronunciation in the most natural way. And hey, before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and tell us in the comments where you're watching or listening from. I always love seeing our audience from all over the world, from Kenya to Korea, from Brazil to Bangladesh, and I'll be shouting out some of your locations next episode. All right, now let's get into it. Today, we're talking about one of the most common and most asked questions in the language learning world. How did you learn English? And to help us explore that, I have a very special guest with me today. She's Brazilian, she lives in the US, and she works right in the heart of Miami in a clothing store. Please welcome Bia to the podcast.
Hi, Peter. Hi, everyone. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I love talking about learning English because, honestly, it was one of the craziest and funniest journeys of my life.
We're so glad to have you. So let's start at the beginning. How did you end up in the US and why?
Okay, so I moved to the US 3 years ago. At first, it was just to visit my aunt who lives in Florida, but then I decided to stay and try to build a life here. I wanted better job opportunities and also to study, but I didn't speak English very well at all, just a few basic phrases.
That must have been a huge challenge. What was it like at the beginning?
Honestly, terrifying. The culture, the speed people talk here, even going to the supermarket felt like a test. I remember once someone asked me paper or plastic at the store, and I just smiled and said yes, because I didn't understand the question at all.
Oh, wow. I can imagine. So how did you go from that moment to working in a store in downtown Miami?
Well, I knew I had to learn English fast. So I started watching TV shows with subtitles, listening to podcasts, and using apps on my phone. But the biggest teacher was real life, talking to people, making mistakes, and just surviving the day. That's how I learned.
You're right. Sometimes survival is the best motivation. Did you ever have an embarrassing moment while learning English?
Oh my God, so many. But I'll tell you one that still makes me laugh. My first job interview in English, I was so nervous. The guy asked me, "Tell me about your strengths." But I thought he said stretch, like exercise stretch. So I said, "Yes, I stretch every morning before coffee."
No! That's hilarious. But honestly, I admire that you even went to the interview. That takes courage.
Thanks. I didn't get the job, of course, but I learned a lot. After that, I started practicing interview questions and recording myself speaking. It helped so much.
That's a great tip. Practice out loud, not just in your head.
Exactly. And I talked to myself in English when I was walking to work or cleaning the house. My roommates thought I was crazy.
Sometimes being a little crazy is exactly what it takes to succeed with language learning. What other methods helped you most?
Honestly, working in the store helped a lot. At first, I only said, "Hi," and "This is on sale." But slowly, I started learning how to help customers, answer questions, and even make small talk.
So your job became your classroom.
Yes, every customer was a new English lesson. And Miami is full of tourists, so I got to hear different accents too. That helped my listening skills a lot.
That's a good point. Exposure to different English accents is super useful.
For sure. At first, I was like, wait, what? Did that person just say? But over time, my ears got used to the variety.
Did you ever get discouraged?
Yes, many times. Sometimes I'd feel like I wasn't improving, but then someone would say, wow, your English is getting better. And that gave me the motivation to keep going.
That kind of feedback really does make a difference. We all need those little boosts along the way.
Exactly. Even just hearing "good job" or "nice accent" made my whole day. Sometimes people don't realize how powerful a small compliment can be.
Absolutely. And your accent actually adds personality. It tells your story.
Thanks, Peter. I used to feel so embarrassed about my accent, but now I think it's part of my identity. It means I'm bilingual, and that's something to be proud of.
Yes, being bilingual is a superpower. So tell me, what do you think helped you improve the fastest?
Speaking. Just speaking. Even when I made mistakes. Actually, especially when I made mistakes. Every time I messed up, I learned something new. Like when I called a customer expensive instead of saying their clothes were expensive.
Oh no, that's hilarious. Did they laugh?
They were confused at first, then we both laughed. I apologized and explained, and they were super nice about it. Americans are usually very understanding.
That's good to hear. A lot of English learners fear being judged when they make mistakes.
I totally get that. But honestly, most people just appreciate that you're trying. Perfection isn't necessary. Communication is.
I love that. Perfection isn't necessary, communication is. That should be on a t-shirt.
I'd wear that. Seriously, though, once I let go of the fear of mistakes, my English improved much faster.
Was there a point when you realized, hey, I'm actually speaking English now?
Yes, it was during a phone call. I helped a customer completely in English without asking anyone for help. I hung up the phone and thought, did I just do that?
That's amazing. What a milestone moment.
Totally. I celebrated with ice cream after that call.
Deserved. Now, a lot of our listeners are still in that beginning phase, struggling with vocabulary and confidence. What advice would you give them?
Start small. Learn the words you use in daily life, like food, clothes, directions, then build from there. Also, speak even if you're not ready. You'll never feel ready. Just start.
That's gold. You'll never feel ready, just start. It's true for language and, honestly, for life.
Right? I always say, be brave, make mistakes, then laugh and try again.
That mindset is what takes learners to the next level. Not talent, but courage and consistency.
Yes, I wasn't the smartest student, but I was persistent. I showed up every day, even when I was tired or shy.
And now you're here, inspiring people all over the world. That's full circle.
It's crazy, right? I never thought I'd be on a podcast in English.
Well, you sound great, and your story is amazing. I'm sure many listeners are feeling hopeful now.
That's all I want. If I can do it, anyone can. Trust me, I started from yes plastic.
That story will never get old. All right, Bia, what are some tools or apps that helped you along the way?
I used Duolingo for the basics, and then I switched to apps like HelloTalk to practice chatting with native speakers. Also, I watched a lot of Netflix with subtitles. That helped with listening and picking up slang.
Ooh, Netflix is a great teacher. Any favorite shows?
Yes. Friends was my favorite. It's funny, simple, and full of useful phrases. I still say, how you doing, sometimes.
Classic Joey. That show has helped so many people learn English and laugh while doing it. Hey everyone, speaking of learning materials, I'd like to take a moment to do a little self-promotion. In the description of this video, you'll find my English conversation guide, which helps you practice English even on your own. I won't say much. If you're interested, check it out. Let's talk a bit about pronunciation. A lot of learners worry they'll never sound native. Did that bother you?
Oh, yes. In the beginning, I was obsessed with sounding American. I'd repeat words over and over just to get them right. But later, I realized that communication matters more than sounding perfect.
Exactly. You don't need to sound American or British to be fluent.
True. Now, I focus more on being clear and confident. And funny enough, sometimes customers say they like my accent. They say it's cute.
That's awesome. I mean, accents can be charming, and they tell a story.
Yes, and every accent means you've worked hard to learn something new. That should be respected.
Let's dive into vocabulary. What helped you build yours?
Flashcards helped at first, but what really worked was writing down new words I heard during the day. I kept a little notebook and added examples too, so I'd remember how to use them.
Smart. Learning words in context makes a big difference.
Definitely. And I tried to use the new words in real conversations the same day. It helped me keep them in my brain.
That's the key. Don't just memorize, use it. Language is a tool, not just a list of words.
Exactly. Oh, and music helped too. I'd listen to English songs and look up the lyrics. Sometimes I'd sing along like I knew what I was saying, even if I didn't.
That's fun, right? Plus, it helps with pronunciation and rhythm. Sometimes I'd realize I'd been singing the wrong lyrics for months, though.
That's part of the journey.
What about thinking in English? Did you try that?
Yes, and it really helped. I forced myself to think in English, even about simple things like, I need to buy milk. It sounds silly, but it trained my brain to stop translating all the time.
That's a powerful shift when you stop translating and start thinking directly in the language.
It takes time, but it happens. One day, I was dreaming in English, and I was like, wow, I've made it.
That's the ultimate milestone. Dreaming in English. Amazing.
It felt like a little celebration in my sleep.
Love that. Bia, you've shared so many useful tips already. What's one thing you wish you knew when you started learning English?
I wish I knew that making mistakes is part of the process. I used to feel so bad every time I said something wrong. Now I laugh, fix it, and move on.
Beautiful. Confidence grows through mistakes, not by avoiding them.
Yes, if you wait to speak perfect English, you'll never speak at all.
That's one of the best lessons today.
Thanks, Peter. I really hope people listening feel encouraged. Learning a language is not easy, but it's 100% possible with patience, practice, and a sense of humor.
Well, now let's touch on something fun. Slang. Were there any expressions that totally confused you?
Oh, yes. One time someone said, "I'm down," and I thought they were sad. I was like, "Do you need to talk?" But they meant they agreed.
Classic. American slang can be so tricky.
It really can. I also didn't get, "What's up?" at first. I thought I had to look at the ceiling or something.
That's so relatable. It's like we expect every phrase to be literal.
Exactly. But eventually you learn to feel the meaning instead of translating word for word.
That's a great insight. So, what's your English goal now?
Right now, I want to improve my writing. I can speak well, but writing professionally in English is my next mountain to climb.
I believe you'll conquer it too, just like you did with speaking.
Thank you. That means a lot. I've learned that progress is a journey, not a race.
Exactly. Small steps every day build big success.
And honestly, being part of podcasts like this one motivates me even more.
Well, you've inspired so many today, Bia. Your story is powerful, honest, and full of heart.
Thank you, Peter. It's an honor to be here and to share a bit of my journey. If I helped even one person feel more hopeful, it was worth it.
You definitely did more than that. On behalf of the English Talk Show community, thank you for your energy, your honesty, and your laughter.
Thank you, Peter, and thanks to everyone listening. Keep learning, keep trying, and don't give up. Ever.
And to our wonderful listeners, thank you for spending this time with us today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the English Talk Show podcast, leave a like, and drop a comment telling us where in the world you're listening from. I really love knowing that. This podcast is all about helping you improve your English in a fun, practical way through real conversations, real stories, and a lot of encouragement. We'll be back soon with more guests and more English learning moments. Until then, keep learning, keep smiling, and keep believing in your progress. I'm Peter, and this is the English Talk Show. See you next time.